Christmas. I am doing this layout for the Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. All the people who are participating will be linked down below. If you don't know what that is, we do every month, the last Wednesday of the month. A big group of us pick a Pinterest board or a pin that we have on our Pinterest board, and we actually use it. So we take from inspiration, whether it be a sketch, whether it be a mood board, anything on our Pinterest board, and we actually use it. I am using this sketch that I'll show you here in a little bit. I've seen it used other places, and I've been wanting to use it because I had gotten these gorgeous holiday seals stamps that I didn't realize at the time have like a bunch of different companies made. So like Waffle Flowers did this one, Gina K, Hero Arts, Pink Fresh, Lawn Fun, Altenew, for example, Pink and Maine, Studio Cadia, Avery L, Concord and Ninth. So they all like collaborated and made this huge stamp set that you could get. So I got that, and I have a bunch of awesome Pink Fresh inks that I got. And I also got, I have holiday vibes from Pink Fresh Studio to use. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this sketch for my Pinterest board, and I am going to create a beautiful page. I hope you guys are having a very Merry Christmas. Like I said, links below to everybody else who's participating. And yeah, thanks for Crystal for letting us join in on this. Enjoy! Well, as you can see, that sketch is relatively simple. So first of all, what I wanted to do is figure out what inks I had were going to go the best with the color scheme in Holiday Vibes. And I figured I have a Pink Fresh Studio collection and Pink Fresh inks. They should coordinate pretty well, and they did. I didn't get all the little ink pads. I might eventually, but the ones I had I was able to use pretty much. So what I ended up using was the only one that wasn't Pink Fresh was a Distress ink tumbled glass for my blue, and then of the Pink Fresh in the little cubes I used Emerald City, Mint, Peach Fuzz, Stargazer, and Passion Fruit. Those are the ones I ended up using. I had another color on there. I believe it was the Coral Reef. Yeah. That I liked, or was it Persimmon? No, it was Coral Reef. That I liked, but I ended up not using because there wasn't a lot of pink on here, so I didn't want to add pink. I wanted to stay more neutral. So I am picking my papers, putting them down, getting my photos trimmed down and matted. I ended up matting them on just a blue of the pattern paper from Holiday Vibes, and then also a white. Sorry about that. Kiddo needed something. So, yeah, this layout in general was relatively quick, and I cut out all of them, and you can see my crazy, crazy hair. I don't know what's going on with that, but I cut out all of the stamping every time, checking swatches. I just did the finishing touch there, so you could see that I tried out a few of them before I decided on my final color choices. So those were the colors I chose. But yeah, this layout's really simple. So I obviously changed it a little bit. It's just a sketch, you just kind of, you wing it how you want it or adjust it how you want to use it. But I liked the idea of something simple. The pictures down kind of the center, but more skewed, which at first when I lined this up, you see I was a little bit farther down on the page, and then when I straightened it out, I moved up. So this ended up going straight across the center of the page, which is not what I really wanted it to do, but it turns out fine. I'm okay with it. I really wanted it to be farther down, so there's only one row of circles below the photos and 3 rows of circles above the photos, so it gave you that askew 1/3, just kind of like a little more appealing than straight down the center, but this works out fine, and it ends up very symmetrical, which is kind of nice as well. So, so I ended up just putting the photos down. Now I'm just trying to pick which stamps I'm going to use. And now I learned a trick from, I want to say it was Jen Scow, but I don't remember if that's who it was or not. Because I was having issues. I just like, am I just buying bad inks? But I'm like, no, I have all these Tim Holtz inks. I have Distress inks. I couldn't figure out why my stamps were coming so mottled, and they weren't like filling in wherever there was solid. And so her trick, if it was Jen, I don't remember. I watched it. She had a video, was to stamp it in Versamark ink first and then just wipe it off with your hand and then use it. It's almost like, I don't know what it does, but it worked. Like when I did the test swatches with the Joyful stamp, and that's like the most solid stamp there is on all these stamps, it worked. It didn't work if it looked bad only if it was like stamping error, like I didn't press hard enough or I put too much ink on, which I ended up doing with it on the layout. I put too much ink on it, so it didn't give a clear stamped image of like the small words that go around the outside. But that's my fault. I know I did it, and I thought of it as soon as, and I should have just stamped it on a scratch piece of paper first before I did it, but I was also kind of in a time crunch. I wanted to get this done, and it's coming up later than everybody else's too, so. But so I end up just I'm picking out my stamps, and then I ended up, I wanted to kind of, so it wasn't just all stamped images, because then I would have had to repeat, I think, or not. I don't think so. But a lot of them say the same sentiment on them, so I didn't want that repeated a million times. And then I decided, so after I punched all the circles, that they weren't standing out enough. So I decided to distress them all in black, and then I also decided, well, if I'm going to do that, I got to do the strips of paper. I wanted to distress everything. So I pulled up my photos, which was good anyway because they would have been in the way for stamping. I wouldn't have been able to get a nice crisp image because I don't have a small, what is it called? Mount. I thought, oh my gosh, my brain is not working. I don't have a small one I have a small one, but it's too small for these stamps to have fit. They would have went over the edge, and then I wouldn't have been able to get good, even pressure. So my acrylic block, that's what it is. Acrylic block was a little bit bigger. So I didn't want the photos to be under it, so I got a nice, even stamped image instead of being like kind of wonky. And I cut out a lot of me stamping those. Right now I'm just lining up the circles, and that makes sure then I will have the stamped circles lined up as well. But they still end up crooked because it's me. And I cut out me stamping all of them. So here I go putting way too much ink on that Joyful one. It turns out really crisp, like it's solidly filled. But yeah, the tiny words that go around the outside, it kind of bled. And I used it a lot, and I think it wasn't dry either because I had just chamoised it off not too long ago. So that's the one I did in the, not persimmon, what did I say it was? The pomegranate, I believe. So then I go ahead and I stamp all the other ones. And like I said, I didn't want you to have to see the top one because to get over top of it, my head was literally filling the entire screen every time. So I did the top three, and the persimmon, or the pomegranate. Oh my gosh, I can't. Is it pomegranate? I don't remember what I said now. The darker red color, passion fruit. I knew it was a fruit. In the passion fruit, and then the Emerald City, and then I did the apricot or the peach fuzz up in the upper right. And then now I'm doing the other three down there, the broken. I'm just gonna stop talking. But I'm finishing the circles, and by putting those punch circles, making sure they were aligned, it was a lot easier to line up the stamps, which is fun. And the circles are slightly smaller, but not to the point that you can, like, they really stands out that they're smaller. So I really liked that difference. And then I think it's kind of funny that I have more bold colors on the top and more of the light colors on the bottom. So I didn't really think that through, but that's okay. I really like how this turned out. I'm really excited that I got a ton of stamping on everything. I wanted, in the sketch, the title was above the photos, but I wanted mine to be more subtle. It's going to go in his baby album with a bunch of other Christmas pages, so it didn't really need a title per se. But I wanted to put something on there, and this cut-apart sheet had that perfect spreading Christmas cheer. I loved it. It was a nice pop of red to bring the red into the center because it was on the outside more. So I cut it in half, and I'm going to do trickery and make it look like it's going through completely all through behind the photos, and I inked it, and I cut off the corners to give it more of a square edge, almost like a tag. So I did that. And then I wanted to use some more things from my Secret Not Secret Kit Club advent calendar. So I stamped this little snowman a bunch of times and then fussy cut him out, and now I'm popping him up on foam. So I'm going to put him kind of up in a cluster. I was really sad that my joyful didn't turn out as crisp, so I was going to just do a cluster up there and then kind of start this diagonal cascade. So I was going to do a cluster up there, a cluster on the top left side of my two photos, and then on the bottom right of my two photos, and then technically title, quote unquote, is down in the middle, but then do a little cluster over to the right of it. So I start by putting all the snowmen on, and then I went for these enamel circles with beautiful things on them, and kind of added them to all the clusters. The one up with the snowman says Noel, with the stamped images. The one down on the bottom is just a snowflake, and then home for Christmas with the cute little houses over there on the left that I'm fussing with. And then I also added some of these wood and enamel buttons, or are they brads? I don't know. I can't remember. And then I wanted to add some enamel dots, but my clusters were kind of looking good. I didn't want to add too much to them, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to add a coordinating enamel dot to all of the stamped images to show that they coordinate well almost, and then just to add a little interest throughout there. And I thought that was kind of fun. So I added one to the outside edge of each circle, just kind of at a random spot, just for some interest. And then I added a couple down by where it says spreading cheer under the photos, along with that Christmas tree enamel circle that's down there. And then I was thinking it needed something else. And so I found these, some chipboard photo corners, stuck them in, and then realized they had some gold. So I went and dug into my stash. And I had recently, and the cat decided this was a good time to come hang out with me, and I dug into my Christmas stash, and I had just gotten the thickers from American Crafts in a paper issues. Was it a paper issues bag? Or was it my Christina grab bag? Ooh, it was my Christina grab bag from Secret Not Secret Kit Club. I got like the holiday one. So I had grabbed those joyous gold stickers and added some snowflakes. But that is it. Thanks for watching. Here's the close-ups. Hope you're having a very Merry Christmas. Bye!